welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to share with you about my weight loss struggles. I've always been a very chubby kid, and I was made aware of that fact all the time. Even as a little child, I always knew that I couldn't eat as many chocolates as someone else could because I've always had a very bad metabolism. So even if I ate the same amount of food as somebody else, like another child, I would gain weight. So that's something that was very known to me. And then as I grew up, I was used to hearing the names like fatty, fatso, all the synonyms of fat person that you can think of. And I guess I grew a thicker skin, so I didn't really take it too hard. I just thought, whatever, they're just kidding. And I didn't really give those names much importance. Like my friends used to call me that, and I didn't think it was bad. I mean, like, I'm sure you think it's rude and all that stuff, and I do too, like now when I think about it, but basically at that point it didn't bother me. But when I was around my teenage years, I didn't want to hear those names, so I tried to lose weight, and I started doing all sorts of diets. I did the Atkins diet, then I did the veggie diet, I did Southwestern diet, military diet, grapefruit juice diet, GI diet. I mean, you name it and I've done it. I've done so many different diets. I've done cabbage soup diet too. I mean, I know it's not that popular, but I've done that too. And then I've also done the lemonade diet, the master cleanse. I've done that for 31 days. So when it came to those fat diets, I've done that. And then after it ended, I would just bring back to my old overweight size. So, none of them were something that was sustainable. It wasn't practical for me to do those diets for long periods of time. And they are not recommended for long periods of time anyway, because, they come with a limited number of days. 3 days, 7 days, 10 days, And what happened was I did all of that and I would gain the weight back. And I kind of figured out that, these diets will never work for me. And I was too lazy to work out, so I didn't do that either. And I just let it be, and my weight kept increasing. So when I started university, I was 155 pounds. Now I'm 5 feet 2 inches, so you can imagine that is quite overweight. And then by the time I was done with my first year, I was 195. So those freshman 15 turned into freshman 40 for me. It was really, really bad. So I realized that, okay, I needed to lose weight. So I joined a gym during the summer and I lost all that weight. And I was about 165 when I was in second year. So since my second year, I've always been in between 155 and 165. And just there, and I wouldn't be able to lose much weight. I think the lowest I've been after my teenage was 153. That was probably the lowest that I've ever been. So it was during my university years when I was having a lot of stomach cramps and issues, and I got myself checked at the doctors and they found cysts, and I was diagnosed for PCOS. So if you know about PCOS, you know that one of the side effects is weight gain, and it kind of slows your metabolism. And what happened to me was, at that point of time, my entire life sort of made sense. I mean, I've always realized that no matter how little I ate, like if I ate normal portions, I would still gain weight. I wasn't someone who who would eat a huge meal. The PCOS kind of made sense at that point. Then as I grew up, I got married. Sorry, I got cut off by my son. So basically what happened was, a year after my marriage, I went for a skiing trip and I fell from the hill. And my life had been downhill since then. I was in bed rest for a few months, I think 2 to 3 months, and during that time I gained a lot of weight because I was literally in bed day and night, unable to move without any help. So it was just a very difficult phase for me. And during that time I gained a lot of weight. And then even when I got well, I came to know that I had a lot of physical restrictions. So even though I looked normal and I was able to walk around like a normal person, I could no longer participate in any physical activity to lose all that weight. So it was just getting harder and harder. I couldn't control my food. I mean, I could, but it wasn't making much of a difference. And I couldn't exercise, so I couldn't burn the calories. And the funny thing is, all my life I've been a very lazy person, somebody who didn't want to work out. By lazy, that's what I mean. I mean, I'm not someone who would, wake up early in the morning and go for a workout. I was very lazy when it came to things like going to the gym, working out. I was very lazy when it came to those things. And when you lose something, you kind of find its value. So after my recovery, I wanted to run, I wanted to walk, I wanted to do anything that was possible for me to lose weight. And I couldn't. And I felt so, so restricted. It's so hard to explain the struggle. And it was worse because, people that I would meet, like my family, not my immediate family, like other people, they would say things like, oh, how are you so overweight? Why don't you join a gym? And it was so ignorant, and you just couldn't explain to each and every person. I even heard things like, oh my gosh, she's so overweight, she's never gonna have a baby. And the fact that I had PCOS, that was definitely not a confidence boost for me. And I was like, what is wrong with people? People can be so rude sometimes. So I kind of lost a lot of self-confidence. I mean, I've always been someone with a low self-esteem, but hearing things like that from people, that really brought me down. And I knew that I couldn't lose weight as easily as somebody else could, because I was like, the PCOS itself, those hormonal issues, it was already pulling me back from losing the weight. And now these physical issues, they're not letting me lose the weight. And then you hear people saying, oh, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? I mean, I was sick of hearing everyone telling me how to lose weight, because, they were just telling all the stuff that's just so obvious. It was just getting worse and worse and worse. Then, thankfully, alhamdulillah, I had my first child. So I was so scared about not having a baby because I love kids so much. And then after my first kid was born, I was, sorry, I'm getting so emotional. I was 220 pounds. That was not fun. I mean, as happy as I was to have my child, I was freaking out when I saw the scale. And I knew that it was just gonna get harder from then on. And after a while, I kind of gave up. I gave up on it because I just didn't care about anyone. I didn't care about what anyone else said. Because, I was just like, oh, to hell with these people. I'm not gonna deal with them anymore. And then after my second child, I think I need a breather. Okay, so after a couple of years, I had my second child. And when she was born, I was 246 pounds. This has been my highest weight. I'm 5 feet 2 inches, so you can imagine how bad this is. And it was at this point I just couldn't take it anymore. I felt like, okay, you know what? I have to live for them, at least, if not for me. If I didn't give a crap about myself, I needed to think about their future. I don't want them to have a sick mommy all the time. And I wanted to take this matter into my own hands. And I knew that I had to do something about it. So about a month ago, I started focusing on my food, because physically I cannot do anything. I'm not allowed to walk, I'm not allowed to run, I'm not allowed to bike. I cannot do any physical exercise. I look like a normal human being, but I have a broken tailbone, and then I have two arthritis in my neck. They're both caused by the accident. So if I force myself to do any physical activity, what happens is my pain, they all get kind of triggered, and then I need a few days to be my normal self. So I can't take that kind of a risk, especially because it could deteriorate my own health. The only physical exercise I can do is swimming. So since I can't go for swimming right now because my plate is quite full, I'm thinking of focusing only on my food. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna focus on my calorie intake. I'm gonna try to bring a calorie deficit for every day. It's not gonna be easy, but I don't think it's gonna be hard because I'm not gonna focus on the macronutrients. So it's not gonna be low carb or low fat. It's just gonna be well, kind of low fat, but because I'm focusing on less calories, so it will eventually be low fat, but not to the point where I'm not taking any fat at all, because fat is good for you as well. So I'm gonna follow a very balanced diet where I'm in a calorie deficit so that I lose my weight. Because of PCOS, it's gonna be hard to lose the weight using only food, and it would have been great if I could, you know, do some sort of a physical exercise. So it's definitely not gonna be an easy journey, but I thought I would share this with you guys. In the last 1 month that I have started, I lost 8 pounds, which is a huge step for me. I mean, you can't tell the difference. Like, if you had seen me in person, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference because I'm so overweight. Not overweight, basically, I'm obese. So it's not noticeable, but it still is something. Even if I stay in this weight the next 1 month, I'm not gonna give up. I need to stay in focus, and that's what this video is about, because I know there are a lot of people like me who are going through this struggle, and I want all of this to be a community so that we can all be together and, you know, support each other to, you know, lead a healthier life. I hope you stay with me in this journey, and it'll be great if you could give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and please subscribe for more, and in that way you can stay updated on my weight loss journey. And I'll see you in my next one. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.